Is a Kombat Pack 3 on the way, or is Mortal Kombat 11 actually dead? I don't know, you're watching a tier list video. And as you all know, my tier lists are always very heavily researched, and I also reach out to a bunch of different creators and often pro players as well, because hopefully that way my tier list can be as accurate as possible. Now with that said, pretty much nobody I talked to agreed on the tier list. They all looked pretty different, but even so, it's nice to have some reference points. And throughout the video, just for fun, I'm going to be showing the different tier lists from various creators and players. So today, let's decide once and for all which DLC characters are the best of the best and the worst of the worst. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Warby Parker. Warby Parker is committed to providing exceptional vision care online and in stores. They offer eyeglasses, sunglasses, eye exams, and contact lenses. The glasses start at $95, including prescription lenses. Sunglasses, progressives, and blue light lenses are also available. And they sent me this really awesome home try-on kit. So essentially, you get 5 different sunglasses you can try on. The shipping is free, and you even send it back for free. So put simply, you go on their website, you order the sunglasses you think look the best, they come to your door, you try them on, then you send them back, and there's no cost on your end. And if you need help choosing frames, take the online quiz, answer a few quick questions, and they'll suggest some great looking glasses that are totally personalized to fit your face and style. And of course, afterwards, whichever sunglasses you like the most, you can order and then have to keep. So without any further ado, let's open this up and have a look inside. Whoopah, look at that. Look at all these beautiful sunglasses. Let's try them on one by one. All right, so first up we have Robbie Gold. Ooh, I feel like I look kind of like Daredevil. I like these. They're pretty darn cool. Oh, you can see my halo light if I look at it. That's cool. Honestly, pretty seductive if I do say so myself. I like the minimalist look. All right, but these ones have me the most excited. The Raider Large. Let's go. Ooh, you know, I always think that I'm gonna look good in aviator style glasses, and then I put them on and I feel like I'm one of the few people who don't look super dope. The glasses look amazing, but I feel like I just don't compliment them that well. But let me know in the comments section, which one do you like the most? All right, and now it's time for the Perkins. How do these look? Ooh, okay, I like the little rim on the bottom. I got a nice angle going on there. Hey, looks good from the 3/4 view and looks good straight on as well. These look kind of dangerous, like I'm a CIA agent. All right, but now it's your turn. Try Warby Parker's free home try-on program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free for 5 days. Once again, there's no obligation to buy. It ships for free and includes a prepaid return shipping label. Try 5 pairs of glasses for free at warbyparker.com/TUDG. Now, I think we all unfortunately know who the worst characters are. We have Shao Khan and we have RoboCop. And I think most players would tell you that Shao Khan is actually the worst of the two, but I think the tournament results say differently. I've seen Shao Khan make it to top 8, and on top of that, Shao Kahn's also won some tournaments as well, and that is not the case for RoboCop. And don't get me wrong, RoboCop is better as long as he has the life lead, but once he falls behind, he has a very hard time catching up, and that's not the case for Shao Khan. That boy's got some damage. And that's why for me personally, Shao Khan is slightly better than RoboCop. However, if you disagree, just know that pretty much every pro player agrees with you, and Shao Khan is unfortunately the worst DLC character in the game at this point in time. And now, like I promised, I'm also going to include some tier lists from fellow content creators. So History Behind the Warrior shared his tier list with me, and it's the one I actually agreed with the most. However, there was one very big exception. History Behind the Warrior seems to believe that Malina is the worst of the DLC characters, and I admit she is pretty weak. She's lacking in a lot of areas. But even so, those sais are really good. I would argue one of the best projectiles in the entire game, but this guy's been commentating a bunch of tournament matches, so I think he knows his stuff. So I believe this tier list, even though I don't completely agree with it. Not to mention the poor guy's being flown left and right to commentate a bunch of tournaments, so he may have had jet lag and just been really tired. Alright, but now it's time for the best characters. Who are the best characters of the DLC batch? And I think we know the answer to that as well. I just have to find him. It's Joker, in my honest opinion. This guy has pretty much no bad matchups in the game, especially with the inclusion of custom combat. He barely struggles at all. He has amazing mix-ups, and he's safe on most of them. Even his combo extenders are safe as well. He's got good counter zones zoning, amazing corner pressure. The guy can lock you down like mad. He's honestly just a really solid character. And of course I gotta mention the damage too. The guy's got damage for days and his crushing blows happen very naturally. So yeah, I'd say he's the best of the DLC characters right now. However, with that said, if you want to get really analytical, I would say on paper, Fujin might be the best character, but you don't see him win quite as often, and I think it's because his execution barrier is pretty high. In order to play Fujin effectively, you have to play him at his utmost potential, and that's tough to do for a majority of players, even professionals. It's kind of like Devil Jin in Tekken 7. Everyone thinks he's the best character, but pretty much no one ever wins with him. So to keep things simple, even though Fujin has pretty much everything you would want in terms of attacks, knowing which one to use in which situation on a split-second notice is not the easiest thing to do. And you know what? This one is tricky because Shiva is a very strong character thanks to one move, and you can thank Titanium Tigers for showing off how good that Dragon Drop actually is. And here's the thing, if they were to nerf that move, I think she would still be very solid, but I don't think she would be top 3. And once again, she has a lot of tournament victories lately. She's won Grand Finals, I think twice now already in recent memory, and those results speak for themselves. Shiva is very strong in the hands of a pro player, even at the highest level of play. That Dragon Drop is still really good. So I kind of wish she had her own tier list, just like one broken move, and that's what makes her good, because otherwise she's pretty fair, but that one move is just super busted. And this next part is where things get really tricky. I'm gonna go ahead and say Shangsung, just because custom variations made him so much stronger. It unlocked a lot of potential for your boy Shangsung. Thanks to custom combat, this guy can be a zoner, he can be in your face, he can bait a bunch of KD parries and get a lot of damage that way from crushing blows. He's just super solid. He has plus frames, frame traps for days, and he also has some very practical crushing blows that do a lot of damage. So yeah, he can do pretty much everything, and custom combat really unlocked his potential. And keep in mind, a tier list isn't just which characters are better, it's which ones have the best matchups. And I think Shang Tsung has a majority of good matchups where he either wins or he's even. And I think that's about it for the top row. So now I'm going to show another tier list. This one is from Super. Once again, a tier list that I really do agree with in many regards, but even so, it's very different from mine. Like I said at the start of the video, nobody's tier lists look the same. In fact, some of them are drastically different. Alright, but now it's time for the second row of fighters, and I'm gonna go ahead and put Spawn there right away. This guy has damage for days, and his zoning is also out of this world. If he touches you and has 2 bars, he's pretty much guaranteed 50%. He doesn't need a crushing blow, he doesn't need a fatal blow, he can get that damage every single time he touches you as long as you don't have breakaway. And in fact, even if you do have breakaway, this guy has combos that leave you standing that still do over 30% damage, and they're really, really easy. And the guy also has some broken hitboxes as well. His chains and his cape do not have a hurt box, so he can hit you, but you can't hit him at certain distances, and that also makes him very strong. And then behind Spawn, I'm gonna go ahead and put Sendel. Once again, just like Shang Tsung, she was made much stronger with the addition of custom combat, because to me, one of her main weaknesses was you could run away, and she only had the good projectile in variation 3, and nobody wanted to use that build most of the time because the other moves kinda sucked. But now she has that projectile in every variation thanks to custom combat, and she's much stronger as a result. And that's a scary thought because this character already had really good range, she had good mix-ups, and some crazy high damage. And just like Spawn, she has some very high unbreakable damage. In fact, if you have the resources available, she has the highest unbreakable damage in the entire game. And it's not the easiest thing to do, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the highest level of play, which characters are the best of the best. And I think Sendel is really good. She does still have some weak matchups though, and I think it requires a certain kind of player to use her correctly, and that's why I have her behind Spawn. But honestly, they're kind of tied in my mind, but I feel like most would think that she's a little bit behind Spawn. And then right behind Sendel, I'm gonna go ahead and put Rain. This guy has had a good showing lately in tournaments, which is interesting because for a while people were discounting him completely. They were saying, he's not really that good, and you might not believe me, but check out other tier lists from high level players, and you will see them put him towards the bottom of the tier list. Not just for DLC, but for the characters in general, he was in either B tier or C tier. He was nowhere near the top. But once again, he's been doing better at recent tournaments, so I think having him right here, I feel pretty confident about that. And then behind him, I'm gonna go ahead and put Nightwolf. Nightwolf is a very solid character, jack of all trades. I would argue a master of none. As a result, he doesn't excel at anything, but pretty much every attack pack you want, he has access to. And as a result, he has mostly even matchups, not too many favorable ones, and if you ask certain pro players, there's not much strategy to using them in his mind. To a lot of pro players, it's either down 3 into throw, or it's down 3 into 1-1-1 for a hit confirm. That's what most players will tell you he does at a super high level, and I blame Foxy Grandpa for that, though he's not the only pro player that uses Nightwolf in that way. But just keep in mind, Nightwolf can be pretty good and he's super solid. However, unfortunately, once again, he is a master of none, so decent matchups, but nothing too favorable. And then for the good tier, we have Malina. So Malina is a super solid character, but unfortunately only thanks to her size. I feel like if you take away her regular size, she becomes much weaker because she has a very bad mid. It has terrible range. It can whiff even if you land her pokes at very close range, it'll still miss. So that's pretty bad. She has T-Rex arms. She does have forward 4, which is one of the best hit confirms in the game, but she needs the size to keep it safe, and even then she needs meter in certain matchups, which means if you lose your bar, you're now running away for most of the match until you get your meter back so you can take some more risks. But outside of that, not a super duper strong character. Her command grab is pretty good, but the damage isn't that great, and because it's so fast, it's actually not that good for tick throw setups. It can miss a lot of the time. It comes out too quickly. So I think Malina, like at a casual level, she's great. Nothing wrong with her. At most levels of play, she is fine. And that's true for nearly everybody. But when we're talking about the characters being played to their full potential, I'd say she's right about here. But once again, just like Spawn and Sendel, I'm thinking about switching her with Nightwolf. It's tough to make tier lists, alright? Not anybody can do this. It's tricky. And then right behind Malina, we have Terminator. Now what makes this character interesting is he either has really favorable matchups or he has abysmal matchups. So in other words, he either dominates the opponent completely or they dominate him, and that's why he's right behind Malina. In the hands of a good player, this character can be absolutely ridiculous. You land a few hits, you go for the shotgun, you amplify, and now it's mix-up city, and both of the mix-ups are safe if done correctly. Honestly, his only real issue is getting in, but pro players are finding a way to use his teleport very effectively. It is a very good teleport, but also quite unorthodox, but I think they're starting to figure it out, and it's making him a bit scarier. So honestly, in a couple of weeks from now, Terminator may fly up the tier list as pro players discover more and more tech with him. And then sadly, last but certainly not least, we have Rambo. I think Rambo maybe could be in front of Terminator, but I just don't see too much of him at tournaments, and when I do see him, he tends to lose the set. He does make it to top 8, but that can be said for a lot of these characters who are in front of him, so it's nothing exceptional. Once again, Rambo's not a bad character. Nobody in this tier list is. They're all viable in their own unique way, so you know what? No, I gotta put him here, I think. Maybe I could see myself doing this, because some of the players that I mentioned earlier, they do actually consider Malina one of the worser characters in the game, so maybe it could end up being like this and Rambo's a bit further ahead, but I do feel like when it comes to matchups, Malina doesn't really suffer because she has those size. But please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, because like I keep saying, it is tough to make a tier list like this. Nobody agrees on anything and every tier list looks drastically different. But as someone who's personally made over a dozen tier lists in the past on this game specifically, here is how I would rank every DLC character in Mortal Kombat 11. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like down below. It really does help my channel out a ton. And while you're down there, make sure to subscribe and ring that bell as well. Keep that combo going, that way you never miss a future video. This channel is quickly approaching 300,000 subscribers, so you don't want to miss out. Make sure to subscribe and be a part of history. Be one of the first 300,000 subscribers on this channel. Make sure to come back next time, everyone, and as always, stay underdogs.